welcome back to the final part of your kitchen knife drawing series. Last time we tackled why your colors might be falling flat and how to fix that. We started by shading the base color to add some serious depth, making it look way more interesting. No more plain, tasteless colors here. But hold on, don't put that pen down just yet. Today we are taking it up a notch with lighting, the real star of the show. So stick around, no snoozing around, have your cup of tea on the table if you need to, and let's dive in and light this thing up. Alright, let's start by adding the lighting on separate layer. It's the same process as before, but this time you are using a lighter shade of your base color. And if you're looking for a shortcut, that's right, L is your friend. D to make your color darker, L if you want to make your color lighter, needless to say. This time around, I'm mixing it up with both solid and airbrush. Some areas need that subtle touch, especially the circles. Next up, the blade, the star of the show. You definitely don't want to skimp on this part when it comes to light. I will use the Bezier selection tool to grab this area. Then head select, feather selection. 2 pixels should do the trick. This helps blend shadows and light for a smoother look. With an airbrush, I will go in with a couple of subtle strokes. Just a light touch to keep things looking natural. Now we will repeat that selection, but make it a bit smaller. And switch to a solid brush. I'm going with the basic 5 size. I've been playing around with different strokes and I encourage you to do the same. Experiment and have fun. And hey, share what you come up with in the comments. I would love to see it. Okay, these highlights are looking pretty awesome. But maybe they are a bit too shiny. So let's tone it down by selecting it and hitting Ctrl+U to adjust the saturation, and looks much better now. I think the shading could use a little tweak too. There we go. Now we are talking. Here is a pro tip. If you ever need to change a color in your painting, say you're working on something like this piece, which I'm calling Leia, and you realize the hair color is not quite right, don't worry. Instead of starting over, just hit Ctrl+U and play with the hue slider to get it just right. Remember, for this to work best, make sure your target color is either selected or on its own layer. If everything is on one layer, it will affect the whole thing, and trust me, you don't want that. Okay, before we proceed, let's make sure there is no selection still around, especially if it's hidden. You want to watch out for that. And now let's add a highlight to the handle. This time I'm going with the freehand selection tool. And it's looking good. Feeling creative? Then try adding some dirt to the blade. Texture brushes can give you some cool results. I'm picking the texture splat for this one. Let's play with colors. White could give a metal edge wear effect, similar to Substance Painter if you happen to be using it, but it doesn't quite fit the line art, so let's try black. Not bad at all. Or if you are in the mood for something bloody instead, red works too. To make it pop, let's turn on layer styles and add a drop shadow. It looks decent out of the box, but I'm tweaking it for a subtle depth. We don't want crazy shadows, just a bit more visual appeal. Best part, if you are not happy with a stroke, no worries. You can erase and paint it over easily anytime. And as you can see, I have essentially created my own brush stroke and the layer style stays intact. Pretty handy, right? I used this same trick to paint moss on a tree without stressing about light and shadows. It looked super realistic. Just a head up, too many of these strokes can slow things down since they are resource heavy. It's rewarding, but it can bite you in the ass if you're not careful. Fancy an older dried up blood effect, then hit Ctrl+U and tweak the HSL sliders until you get that aged look. Lastly, let's spice up the background using the Assistance tool. I covered this in a previous lesson, so if you haven't seen it, check that out. Now for some reason, my camera went out of focus during the recording of this part, which unfortunately caused some blurs in certain timeline, which sucks. So let me quickly show you how this technique works on a blank canvas in a screencast recording instead. Grab the Assistance tool. I've set mine to Ctrl+Alt+B so I can switch between the brush and the Assistance tool without any hassle anytime on the fly. In the tools option, choose the parallel ruler. Place a straight diagonal line. This will guide your strokes. Draw a rectangle to mark your shading area. You can change the color of these Assistance lines anytime. Then switch back to the brush tool. Make sure the Snap to Assistance tool is selected, otherwise, as I explained before, the Assistance tool won't work. Let's go for a blue azure color and pick up a bristle brush. This is a nice one. And let's add a new layer because I definitely don't want to paint on the background itself. Watch the magic happens. Pretty cool, right? And these diagonal parallel bristle strokes really make it a pop. I recommend using bristle brushes for this. There are a ton of them to play around, have fun experimenting. To remove the Assistance lines, just go back to the tool option and click here to clear them off. Now let's apply this technique to our kitchen knife. I added a new layer above the background layer and use the bristle 3 brush smooth. I'm going with diagonal strokes, varying the color slightly and going darker toward the center. Remember, there's no right or wrong here, just mess around and see what works for you best. And here we are. We have come a long way from simple line art to a full-blown illustration. You could even add some reflected light, maybe a bit of dark blue around the edges for some extra flair, but that's beyond this tutorial, so I will leave that as a bonus challenge for you. Hope you found this lesson helpful. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more amazing content. One more thing before I let you go. I don't know about you, but if you have been using Krita a lot like me, it's a godsend. Possibly the most powerful free open source app on the market. I dare say it's the 2D counterpart of Blender in the 3D art space, if not darn close. However, it can be pretty tough to learn the nitty-gritty with all these tutorial rabbit holes, especially the game changer tools like the colorized mask you discovered today. Worse, the amount of tutorials and lessons on the web is nothing compared to Photoshop. I believe this is what's holding a lot of artists from making the switch to Krita. So, if that's you, if you're looking to master the nitty-gritty, love to learn what's under the hood of this amazing software, If your comfort zone or workflow in Photoshop or whatever painting app you're using is holding you back, then I strongly recommend this 3-part concept art series in Krita by Wahdi Muttaqin. This bundle through practical examples, project files, and projects at the end of each section will teach you not only all the tools and techniques you wished you knew earlier, but also the foundation of concept art, from the sketch phase, line art, all the way to shading, lighting, and details. You'll even learn how to create your own brushes in advanced parts, layer techniques, and tons of hidden tricks you won't find on the web that will save you an incredible amount of time in your workflow, like the colorized mask you discovered today. And hey, this comes from a man who went through this course myself. I'm not pitching you this for just the usual self-sponsoring reason. Here is proof. Let me show you a clip I recorded while I was doing the X illustration project from the course. If you've been following me on my socials, the equipment and the hand might sound familiar. Full disclosure, I discovered the colorized mask in this course while doing this X, the same technique I used for the cane tutorial and the previous lesson, so I can't take all the credit. Back then I couldn't draw at all. Now the results are standing in front of you. I think you can imagine how much progress I've made. If I could do it, so can you. If you're tired of the fruitless tutorial rabbit hole, frustrated from jumping from course to course to just learn the missing links here and there, then this bundle has everything you need. Don't waste any more time watching more content unless you really love to take a couple more years to figure it out on your own. The series are available on both Udemy and Skillshare. If you are busy, no problem. The first part, which is the one for beginners, is actually more than enough. But I encourage you to invest in the intermediate and advanced part if you really want to get the most out of it. If you are a premium member on Skillshare, perfect. You can start watching the lessons now at no additional cost. If not, no problem. I've got you covered with a 30-day trial instead of the 1-week trial Skillshare gives you if you sign up on their website. The invitation link is in the description box. Part 1 takes you about 2 weeks to finish, even less, possibly 1 week if you are aggressive about it. The best part is you can use the same trial period to enroll in a ton of different courses as you can possibly imagine, not just Wahdi's series. You get an entire month to get a taste of everything you wish to learn. And hey, a lot of these Udemy courses in your wishlist are available on Skillshare. If the free previews on Udemy are not enough for you to judge the course's worth, why not use the same trial period to evaluate them? If you have been skeptical for a while, this is your chance to see if they are worth your money. And after the trial, if you love to remain a premium member, great, your support means the world to me. For every sign up, I get a 60% commission if you go premium. If not, no worries, you can try Udemy. The only difference is that you will pay upfront, but you will get a permanent license to use the course for a lifetime. Either way, your support helps me continue making these videos and tutorials for free, and most importantly, helps me pursue my dream to go full time in this gig. So again, links in the description box. Have fun, happy painting, and see you in the next one.